Welcome to Unlocked, the home of common sense that speaks Britain's language. And on this momentous day in Brexit history, it gives us immense joy to bring back a friend of the show, John the Don Redwood, the king of the Brexiteers. What an amazing day, John. Boris has just delivered a statement saying we should get ready for no deal. John, you've been around for a while. Should we be excited? Should the champagne be on ice?
I hope so, yes. I'm certainly very pleased because I think there were a lot of people who said the government will buckle again, it will give way, it will give away our fish, it will give away our right to self-government, it will let them make laws for us and put us back under their court. And the Prime Minister has been crystal clear that on all those three big things, he has withheld all those pressures and said that if that's what you want to do, EU, then there's no point in talking. And I'm very pleased he's taken the line he's taken. He has, of course, left open the possibility that if the EU want to accept that we're going to run our own fishing grounds, we're going to have our own laws, we're not going to be under their court. If they would like to come back with a free trade agreement, why not? That would be good. But I hope that the EU doesn't now think that by turning up in London next week for so-called intensive talks, they can then get Britain to climb down again. And it's most important that the Prime Minister, having made this great statement, sticks to it. Our fish are not up for offer. Our laws are not going to be back under the EU's, and we're not going to have everything adjudicated by the European Court of Justice.
Well, it's just recently been reported that Merkel has come out saying in response to Boris's statement, well, okay, we'll think about compromising on the level playing field. But do you think compromises on the level playing field is really in the UK's interest? Isn't it better if we just have a clean break from the level playing field?
Well, of course, and as I understand the Prime Minister's statement, which is why I'm very pleased with it today, he's saying we're not looking for a compromise on state aids and your court and grabbing our fish. It's not a question that we just want you to grab a bit less. We wish to be an independent country. What doesn't Mrs. Merkel understand about that? I mean, she's a clever woman, a well-trained scientist, but I found her first remarks really very off-putting because she said Great Britain rather than the United Kingdom, as if they still had this agenda to split us up and treat Northern Ireland differently. And it's been a fundamental point of this government recently elected that we are a United Kingdom. It was a United Kingdom referendum. And so the whole of the UK, including Northern Ireland, leaves the EU and has its own single market and customs union, as we know. And the second thing I found very disturbing about Mrs. Merkel was she implied that you can be a bit independent, that maybe we need to be allowed to be a little bit more independent. No, Mrs. Merkel, we're either independent or we're under your court and your laws through the European Union. And we, the British people, were crystal clear. We're fed up with your court and your laws and your economic rules and your tariffs on the rest of the world. We want to do those things for ourselves. So, Mrs. Merkel, we're either free and independent, in which case we can do a free trade agreement with you, or you don't want us to be any of those things, in which case we're out of here. We're going off. We have our own destiny. We are Great Britain and the United Kingdom. And as the United Kingdom, we can trade better and we can be friends with all sorts of people around the world. We can be an important member of those international bodies which the EU kicked us off because they took our membership.
Well, John, once again, there's a statement that almost demands a 21-gun salute. You're getting us going here, sir. And that brings me to my next point. You've been around politics a long time. You have seen great political theatre. How much today was Boris performing theatrics? How much of this is brinksmanship? Or how much of it is actual statement? We mean business. We want no deal. Listen to us at last.
Well, I hope it's the latter. I mean, I hope he really means it. I have no reason to doubt him. I don't doubt that's the right thing for us to do, and I will go on saying that. And I will go on encouraging the Prime Minister, because I'm sure there will be all sorts of advisors, both from Europe and at home, urging him to say, well, of course, now they've given a bit of ground, so surely, Prime Minister, you've got to be reasonable and meet them halfway. No, we don't want to meet them halfway. We're not going to compromise on being independent, thank you very much. And I trust the Prime Minister believes that as strongly as I do.
So, John, do you think, though, an Australian-style exit is possible under the withdrawal agreement, or does it need to be ripped up?
Well, I think we got to legislate in Britain to make sure all of that works. But clearly that needs looking at. That was why I was insistent on the bill cash clause, the sovereignty clause. I think some of the advisors in government thought that we'd never properly implemented the withdrawal treaty anyway, because by putting the sovereignty clause in, we were saying we reserve the right to change this if you don't play by the game, European Union. And as far as I'm concerned, the EU have not negotiated in good faith. They've systematically blocked the free trade agreement, and yet their own political declaration signed jointly with us said the free trade agreement would be the centre of the new relationship they were going to negotiate. So I think they very clearly negotiated in bad faith. So yes, we're going to have to legislate in the United Kingdom to sort out the resulting mess.
John, do you think we're as near as we've ever been today to a clean break Brexit?
I hope so, yes. I think we were quite close to it in the past under Mrs. May, when she promised us that we had a deadline to get out and there was no deal on offer which Parliament would accept. But unfortunately, she backed down. It's terribly important now that Mr. Johnson doesn't back down, because all the Brexit hopes and enthusiasms are riding on this. We've had 4 years of this nonsense with a previous Remain Parliament and all sorts of Remain advisors working hand in glove with the European Union, who were out to thwart us and cripple us and put us back under their own control. We voted decisively again in that general election to be done with all that. And so it's most important our Prime Minister stays true to those beliefs that gave him that big majority.
Well, we were just actually thinking how COVID has influenced the negotiations at the moment. There's sort of foreboding year ahead of economic concerns. How much do you think that is pushing the EU to making a decision on a trade deal with us? I mean, the Europeans across Europe have said, you know, they're keen on a trade deal, but Barnier keeps putting obstacles, and Macron too as well now, saying he's not going to sacrifice the French fishermen. What are your thoughts on how COVID has influenced the negotiations?
Well, I think they're cynically using that, as they use everything cynically, to try and put us back in colonial status, as one of them said on that famous television program. I think they're saying, both to themselves and to us, look, the policies to deal with COVID-19 have done a lot of damage to the economies on both sides of the channel. So clearly we don't want to do any more damage. Well, I've got news for them. I don't think Brexit is damaging to us. I think EU single market and customs union membership has been pretty damaging to us, which is why I wanted to get out of it. Whereas I think they have got problems, because if we put a full range of tariffs on all their food products, which they export in huge quantities to us with a huge surplus, that could be difficult. And if they lose all our fish, that could be difficult. That is their problem. If they want to use COVID-19 as an excuse for saying, you know what, we've made lots of mistakes in this negotiation, we'll now offer you a free trade agreement, be my guest. I won't even object or claim that they've done it for the wrong reasons. If they want a free trade agreement, they can have a free trade agreement. But it's got to be a fair free trade agreement between a sovereign United Kingdom and the European Union. It's not a vassal state kind of agreement.
John, Belinda and I have spent our fair share of tortuous hours in Brussels and Strasbourg, and we've witnessed, yeah, I'm still feeling the pain now, John, and we've witnessed some of these political pygmies throwing down constant roadblocks to Brexit. Who do you think has been the most troublesome politicians, both in Europe and domestically, to thwarting Brexit for all the last 4 years?
Well, I think Her Majesty's opposition are probably the ones that take the prize, because they should know the mood of the electorate, and the fact that they didn't cost them dear in seats in the last general election. But throughout the period, they would never give any support to those of us who were prepared to be rebels in Parliament, standing up to a government that was a bit too European, because they always wanted to be more European. Instead of saying, no, you mustn't sell that out or give that power away or accept that crazy law, they were saying, let's do more of it. Come on, EU, make it worse for us. And they would never stand up to a single bad law of the EU. Isn't it remarkable that over all those years, all that legislation, the Labour Party never found something they really disagreed with?
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, so John, I would like you, if you could, our viewers are going to be very, very excited and optimistic on this day. It's been a long, long trek. It's been a mountain to climb. What's your message today, John, to Brexiteers that are on the verge of victory now?
Well, my message is do not relax your guard until we've landed this. We've made a big move forward today, but we still haven't got rid of the spectre of a possible compromise of the wrong kind. So keep up the pressure, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure your MPs who you elected to give you Brexit want to give you a clean, good Brexit. A Brexit that means we can make our own choices and decisions. We can have those world trade deals with our friends and allies around the world. We can decide whether to impose tariffs or not. We can decide what laws we want to have. We've got too many bad laws that we've had imported from Europe against our will. It's time to sort all that out, and we need to be free to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think Barnier should be booking any Euro-style ticket next week unless he's prepared to agree to a Canada-style plus deal. And what would be your message to Barnier, John?
Well, you know, save the money on the ticket and save the danger of travelling on public transport at a difficult time, unless you really do understand that we intend to be independent. And it's no more fish on the cheap, and it's no more controlled by your court, and it's no more you making laws for us. We will make our own good laws. Some of them will be equivalent to your laws. We're happy to trade with you, but don't expect to boss us around anymore.
Fantastic.
Well, it's a beautiful thought. You know, Michel Barnier just stays in some kind of, like Tom Hanks, just like stays in the departure lounge at the Eurostar, never makes it over. Now, I know you've been in Wokingham today. You've been in Woking. You've been talking to your constituents. Are they excited on the ground about this news today?
Well, the Brexit ones are over the moon, yes. I have got some Remain constituents who are not so pleased about it, but I think they voted Liberal Democrat last time, which was very sensible given the difference in views that we have. But otherwise, I love them all and I represent them all in the best way possible.
Well, they're very lucky, John. What an incredible MP you've been, not just to Brexit, but to democracy on the whole. What a great day, Martin. Just fingers crossed that everything that Boris said today translates into ink on the paper and the commitment is secure. Walk away if the only option is bad deal.
Yeah, John Redwood, thank you so much once again for appearing on Unlocked. You're becoming rapidly a great friend of the show, and we hope to speak to you much more in the future. And thank you for your service, and thank you for being a passionate, committed, stalwart of Brexit and never, ever relenting. Thank you, sir.